Hi, Scott here. Hope you're well. So today we're going to go into the charts. What I'm going to do this day is a little bit different. I'm going to go into all the possible setups that I see and explain why I like them or don't like them. So a bit more educational, and you'll still get the same result, but it may take a little bit longer. But we'll see how we go. So let's get diving in. There's a good few things to look at. I'll click on the right buttons that help. So to share my screen. And okay, there we go. So the same approach, we'll go through my watch list. The gold ones are the ones which are setting up right now. Starting with Aussie Cat, there's quite a few pip snatches. So I'll go through one in detail and then I'll speed through the rest a bit faster. So Aussie Cat. So we're seeing some weakness from the Aussie, or actually strength from the CAD particularly. And we've had a lot of bearish pressure the last few days. We've hit this level here. We tested it yesterday, which actually going back, as you can see from the monthly chart, there's a big low test on the monthly, which opens and closes on its exact price that it tested yesterday. But we've got downward momentum, so maybe there's some room for a quick trade short. Now we missed all the original breakouts, the IBOs and CBOs, but the pip snatcher's on. As you can see, it sets up quite nicely. The 1 hour 50 is not too far back. Trend line, not so clear. It may even be, let's zoom into the 1 hour. So we can zoom in a bit and get a bit closer. There's probably a trend line down here somewhere, which it is respecting quite well at the moment. So we could get a pullback. So is this a good trade or not? We've already hit these lows, which I showed you on the daily, which is a very strong support, potentially. Let's look at the MACD. MACD is still going well. We're still getting, as the price is going lower, we're getting lower lows on the MACD, so that's good. So is this a good trade? Well, the only thing to consider, I think, first we've already hit these lows, so we've always got to be cautious of that. And to pull back to the pivot, either you could say we've already had it. No, not really. That was last night. If the daily pivot didn't form until this candle here. So we need to break this trend line. And the 1 hour is still a fair way back. So it's always best with a pip snatcher, which is the pip snatcher is the one-to-one trade, quick one-to-one, in and around the pivot, stop behind the R1 and 1% take profit before the S1, preferably at the recent lows or highs, or before that, so we don't actually trade through it. So what this trade would need to do is pull back to the pivot, over to the 1 hour, and then have some kind of entry, which should take us hopefully down to our 1% profit. So that's going to take time to pull back to the 1 hour 50. In that time, it's breaking this trend line, which could be okay because that trend line's quite steep. It's accelerated away from the 1 hour, but you need very nice reaction from the 1 hour 50 test, pull back, and then enter as we get around the pivot on a 5-minute break or something to confirm the trend is still going short, and jump in for one-to-one. Someone's okay, but I don't like the fact it's a bit steep. This original trend line here kind of follows the 1 hour 50, or it did until it really accelerated downwards. I mean, if it accelerates downwards, often you get a big pullback. So what we might see here is a pullback to the 1 hour 50, little bounce, break through the 1 hour 50 and pull up to the 4 hour 50. And then either get a trend continuation or a trend reversal. We'll have to look at that when that comes. So that's a possible trade, but caution, would I take that? Depends on the price action. Not one of my favorites, but worth looking at. So Aussie Swiss, we'll look at this one next. Similar kind of price action. We've got downwards momentum. Any obvious lines here of support? Not really. So the potential to get more oversold? Not really. Getting there, but not really oversold at the moment. So there's room for potential to the downside. Okay, let's do the hourly, and now we have a nice trend line. I like that trend line, many touches. So to enter for the pip snatcher again, same idea of setup. Very similar, the 1 hour 50 is still behind, we need to catch up. And to do that, we need to break this trend line. And that is a concern, because when the trend line breaks, just the 1 hour 50, it's likely to come back and retest the trend line, but they might reverse before you hit your take profit. So if you do trade management on your pip snatcher, you might well get out for break even or small profit. If you don't, if you just leave it and wait for it to hit the take profit or the stop loss, there's a chance it'll do this and then eventually hit your stop. So that was a bit risky, and I don't know that because we've got this very strong definite trend line there. MACD, okay, MACD wasn't too bad. We're showing signs of reversal yesterday. It then broke down again, looked good, and now we've got a double bottom, which is not good trading through a double bottom. And then the second low of the double bottom, we've got a big MACD divergence. See, this is a higher low than this one. So that, to me, is caution. I wouldn't want to trade to that double bottom. Put a 9 in there, make it a bit more obvious. Call that, let's say it's 1 hour. So we've got double bottom, we're going to trade through that double bottom to hit TP. So that is a definite no for those reasons. Put that on watching. It's a definite no. Aussie yen. Again, we've got a breakdown here. We've got a much nicer looking Elliott wave. Elliott wave 1 going from these highs, breaking through the daily 50, pulling back to the daily 50, and then now we're heading short. We are actually hitting some kind of lows, some level here, where these lows are. Bit of caution there. So we'll slow down here to where we hit your lows yesterday. See, we're testing it here, here, and back here. Yeah, so that's a reasonable level. Take that into consideration. Now, again, on the 1 hourly, we've got a strong trend line which accelerated away from. Looking at MACD, it was looking like reversal yesterday. We then had this gusto of downward pressure here, which was good. And then the low after that is a higher low on the MACD. So there's a reversal looking, a divergence there, possibly a reversal. Think about that, and always looking at lots of different aspects and then making a decision based on those. So putting back to the pivot, it can do that without breaking the trend line, which is good. Right, reverse the pivot, let the 1 hour catch up a bit, and I have to break through the trend line briefly to hit the 1 hour 50, and then come back through it again. So it could be a possible trade. What else do I like to look at? So the MACD, I've talked about quite a lot. Another thing I like to look at is a trend line on the MACD here. Now this is a bit unconventional. You can also see on the RSI, there's also a line on the RSI you can draw. So from the most recent touches, this trend line touching here and here. So these highs on the MACD and these highs on the RSI. When this one here pulls back, the current price action, when that pulls back to the trend line, we want to see these lines hold. So if, for instance, the MACD went up here up to this trend line and then broke down as it rejected the trend line on the hourly 50, all good. But if it did break through it, that's a sign it might well retest it and then break higher, which will mean you're breaking higher here as well. So that's a warning sign. So we're looking pretty close to those. Keep an eye on that. It's looking like it might well break those trend lines. Again, it's no definitive decision maker, but it's a good indication that the trend is on its last legs and about to reverse. So Aussie yen, do I like that one? MACD divergence, that's looking very close, unlikely. I'll put it on secondary, see what happens during the day. Next one, Cat Swiss. On the daily, what have we got? We've got a big pull up here to day 20, daily 50 zone, a bounce, and that's pulling back up there again. Got a double top looking pattern here. On the daily, at this line here, it is quite significant, I believe. Going back. Always go back and check your support resistance lines. And as I said before, the best way to do that, I found, is to sync your windows, or layouts, your windows inside this layout, these three chart windows, sync them with, click here and then the time, put the time on, and that will sync them. And then you can just click on here where it touches the trend line, or sorry, the S support resistance line. Just click on it and it will synchronize the daily, and you can see is it significant or not. You can just go through. So it's hitting there, testing there. I don't know. Spend a bit of time going through these and go back a fair way. Go back more than 10 years. So it's quite more of a zone here, isn't it? Anyway, go back, do your checking. Make sure you're happy with it as well. But the high test yesterday is looking a bit like a rejection. Let's go to the hourly. Now, time frames, what do we have? We have so beautiful CBO played out yesterday. We talked about the deceleration with this wedge pattern, the breakout, and I drew in my arrows for CBO. Played out beautifully yesterday. Do we have anything today? But we have a possible pip snatcher again, long this time. We have, what do we have? I see a trend line here. Seems to be in play. And it's actually about now. The entry will be about now, or you just missed it. I've just missed it. So what do we have as well as that? I see, let's look at the fib, not the fibs, the Elliott wave. We've got these lows here. We've got a wave 1, wave 2 pullback, wave 3 breaking through the 1 hour, 4 hour, wave 4 pullback, and a wave 5. Okay, so wave 5 is finished. It looks like testing the highs. So it could be all we get. So will I do a pip snatcher now? Not now wave 5 is completed, just too risky. But a pip snatcher, it's only 1-to-1, so you need to have a very good strike rate. More winners than losers. Otherwise you're in a losing game. So playing along into that support resistance level on the daily with wave 5 complete, I think I'll dismiss that one. Euro yen. Try and speed up a bit now because there's lots to go through still. Euro yen. We've had hit this strong level, pull back, retest, pulling back again. I thought we were looking for a long trade there. Oh no, so we were looking for short trade yesterday. It's been a bit of a doji-ish kind of day. Let's look at the hourly, and we've had the wave 1, wave 2 pullback, big wave 3 breakdown. Wave 4 pullback is happening right now. So this could be a wave 5 short. So I'm not really that convinced with the daily chart, but this looks like we've got a wave 4 pullback now, coming back to test 382 of this run, big run here, wave 3 run. The 4 hour 50 is about in line, and the 1 hour 50 is slightly before it. So it's to break through the 1 hour 50, take the 4 hour 50 and the 382, and then go short. That is okay. That's a pretty good looking trade. Euro USD. So we've got it, lots of downward price action here after this rejection of the trend line at the daily 50. If we're a day short today, down to these lows probably. A little bit of deceleration there, so these candles getting slightly smaller, which is a hint of a reversal. Here's the 1 hour chart. What do we have here? We've got maybe stick a line there somewhere. There. That's quite a good one. I like it because it follows the 1 hour 50. These 2 points here are pretty good. Pull back, and we could trade that short as a pip snatcher again. 1 hour 50 is a bit far behind, which is not ideal. So zoom in a little bit. 1 hour 50 is hiding behind the trend line. And it should be about now, but it needs to pull back a long way to the 1 hour 50. So I'm not liking that. Let's have a look at other signals, indicators. The MACD is getting lower, lower, lower lows on the price action. On the MACD, we've got a higher low, and that trend line I showed you before, probably not relevant so much now. So that's looking pretty bullish, or a hint that the reverse is going to happen. So I would not want to trade that short. So I will get rid of that one. I'll put it in watching because sometimes it's always good to watch after the price has done its thing, just to see if my assumptions were correct. Can I learn anything from that? Right, pound CAD on the daily. We've had a rejection, pullback through the daily 50, now stalling at the daily 20. Not really clear what's going on there. It could just be 382 pullback and going long again. Look at the weekly. Weekly is looking very bullish, with a massive bearish run down here. Big wick. That's a very good low test, ending up much higher. Was it 2 weeks ago? And then maybe we're going long there. So looking like it could be going long. What do we have on here? So here we have a really nice looking CBO. Complete breakout. We've had a break of 4 hour 50. Break of the 1 hour 50 was up here. Traded down, then it broke the 4 hour 50. And that's looking like it could be ready for a really good CBO short. So CBO looks great. 382 lines up to 4 hour 50 and the 1 hour 50. Entry about there somewhere, stop behind the 618. That looks good. Looking just at the lower time frames. But the higher time frames, we don't want to trade this short. Not convinced. Going to break for the daily 50, pull back slightly. Is that going to go short? I don't know. I'll put that on the secondary. Not too enticed by it, but the lower time frames do look good. So I'll put it there. Next one is Kiwi Cat. Again, we've got some bullish pressure, broken this level, and looking like it might go a bit lower. On the hourly, right, we've got a good run down there, got a good trend line, quite fast because it's accelerated away from the 1 hour 50. But we're now breaking that trend line, coming back to the daily pivot for pip snatcher short. That's a bit of a warning sign for me, because once the trend line's broken, you might pull back to the 1 hour 50, come back, retest the trend line, and then go long. So a bit of a warning sign. Look at the MACD, big MACD divergence, this low to this low, this low to this low is higher. So it's a big divergence, so that is a warning sign as well. So I will steer clear of that one. I'll put that down to watching, not interested, but thank you for the offer. Kiwi Swiss. Okay. Bearish pressure, a bit of a doji candle yesterday. It's not looking great with deceleration, but we may be looking for heading down to these lows. Let's just see what the lower time frames give us. The 1 hour, again, we've got this trend line, the lower lows, and there's a possible pip snatcher before the trend line and the 1 hour 50. So that we will be entering about now. So that looks okay. Looking at the MACD, well, all the way down here, lower, 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 basically going higher, 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 higher. That's not looking very strong. That can turn around at any moment. I'm going to demote that one as well for those reasons. Nothing to say these won't play out, but the odds are it's not, you really with a pip snatcher want 70-80% strike rate or more, and I'd say you're 50-50 on that one. So for me, not worth it. Whoops, what am I doing? Back to Cat Swiss. I'm clicking on buttons here. Wrong watch list. Okay, Cat Swiss, Cat Yen. Sorry, Kiwi Yen. Confused. Right, Kiwi Yen, higher time frames here, the daily. Again, we've got bearish pressure. Maybe going short today, but we are hitting this level. Anything there's lows here, maybe that's significant. If you go back, you need to go back and check. I imagine we're getting the same sort of price action as we did on the last pair. We've got a good trend line, which should be okay to retest the trend line at the pivot and trade short. 1 hour is quite a way behind though, so not keen on that. MACD again, it's trending up. The lows are trending up. When the price action, the lows are trending down. So not interested. Too risky. All right, my trading view is slowing down a bit. Dollar yen. Okay, we've broken up out of this level, out of this triangle. So looking like probably going long. What are we getting on the lower time frames? On the hourly, it's a bit squishy. So a bit better. This is an old trend line we had from a while ago, which maybe is back in play with that low test. It's broken above it. It's looking good. There's a possible pip snatcher here. Pull back. The 1 hour 50 is a bit far below it, which is not ideal. Nothing to say we can't get this sort of candle to the 1 hour 50 in a few hours and close bullishly the pivot, and then you can get a long trade. MACD telling us anything? Well, not looking that good, is it? So here we've got much higher high, much higher high. Here we're getting slightly lower high, slightly lower high. So that's losing momentum. So not keen on that one either. What you really want to see is this giving strong higher highs and the MACD giving strong higher highs as well. So I'll get rid of that one. That's all the ones which I see setting up right now. Let's have a quick look at the ones which may start a little bit later. Aussie USD. Lots of bearish action there. In the strong level. No signs of deceleration yet, so nothing to say it's going to go long today or soon. Now this is another trade we could take a pip snatcher short. I've been through the reasons why I didn't like those other ones, and the same sort of things apply here. We're getting a higher low on the MACD. Trend line needs to be broken to go back to the pivot. I won't go through all that again, but what I'm looking for here is for this to break through and break above the 1 hour 50. It's a very strong trend down. Needs a fair bit of deceleration yet. So from here, maybe test the 1 hour 50, bounce a bit higher low, break the 1 hour 50, come back, test it for an entry, trade up to the 4 hour 50, whatever that might be at the time. So the entry will be here on the retest. That's the IBO, break and retest of the 1 hour 50. That could be something for later today, unlikely, more likely tomorrow morning or tomorrow sometime. Euro CAD. We've had a pullback into the daily 2050 zone. Low test yesterday, hinting that it might be going long. Not much else really on there, apart from Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete. So what are we doing here? We don't really know. On the hourly, we have pretty good trend line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches, and it's just finally broken at the last hour or two. Good. It's good to see that. So now we need to find, for a trend change, we need a higher high and a higher low. So we've also got the 4 hour 50 and the 1 hour 50 here, which is nice. So we get a good breakout. There will be a CBO. CBOs are more reliable, higher strike rate. Often not, the profit's not quite as good, but higher strike rate and what was the other thing I was going to say? Can't remember, it'll come to me. So here we go. So we need to see a higher high. So break, where's the highs? The highs aren't really great here, are they? Maybe this is the high. But a solid break of the 1 hour 50 and the 4 hour 50 will be good enough for me. And then the higher low, which will be when it does a retest. So this is the low, higher low. Get in here. This wrong button. Tool. Along. And there, up to the highs. Low behind the 618, wherever that ends up being. So that's a good looking one. Maybe today. Could be late today. Could be. Never say never. US Swiss. Similar kind of thing. Got to pull back to the 2050 zone, and then it's like it's going long. Be aware of that daily 50. You don't want to be trading through it. But if we get a break above it, this is what I put in yesterday. And it's still waiting for that breakout of the daily 50. We've got, maybe we've got a higher low now. Maybe that's a low. We'll see as this goes up. This breaks the high. That'll be a higher low. We have a higher high. Is that a high? It's a bit messy. It will be if it comes up here somewhere. So if you break this high, that'll be a clear higher high. So maybe if we get up to about here, 1 hour 50 will come up and meet the daily 50. Daily 50 is this green line here. So that'll be nice. And then they give us a nice trade long to these highs. Into here as an ACBB, because we've got the 4 hour 50 behind us, not in front of us. That's an ACB, which is this pattern here, this wedge pattern and the breakout, which did play out, as you can see yesterday. And then to the ACB. So we've already had a break here, but because the daily 50 stopped it, I want to see it break the daily 50 clearly and pull back to it. That's a nice one. Could be later today. £1. Big breakdown, bounce off the daily 50. It's about 382-ish, pulled back about a third of the way. And now it looks like it's going to go short. Good deceleration. Hard to know exactly, but looking at the weekly, we can see a massive bearish high test 2 weeks ago, and that's implying that we're going to go short from here. So short looks good. So we had this trend line here, a bit zoomed in there, no, around a bit, and we had a bacon retest. Actually, we could probably say there, we could even say there. Yeah, that one's better. Either way, we have seen a break of this uptrend. We've gone from a double top to a lower high, got a lower low. From this low to this low, trend change confirmed. Now we need a clear break of the hourly 50. So we're looking for something to do this. Be aware of the day 20 just below us, this red line here. But we're trading into it actually. So A bit of caution maybe. And we've got the 4 hour 50 behind us, so maybe we'll be doing that. So if you get a nice few 4 hour candles in here, break of the daily 20, clear break, pull back for an entry. 4 hour 50 is about here as well. That could be a nice little CBO short. That could play out today. Not too long from now. Pound USD, just a couple more. Pound USD, again we've got a pull up, looking very bullish on the weekly. Bullish low test there. Pull back about 382, maybe a bit further. Deceleration, maybe we're going long today. On the 1 hour chart, we've got solid downtrend, a good trend line there. I like that trend line, which it seems to have just broken it and retested it. Always good to check these trend lines. You could say that there's a trend line, you could say that there's a trend line. This is a broken retest. That one there is just broken. Either way, it's just broken. We're going to look for some confirmation. This is my line from yesterday. So probably the best thing will be either an IBOC, if it just pulls back to the 1 hour 50 with the 4 hour still above us. We're trading through that 4 hour 50. So that'll be an IBOC. Or we might, by the time this pulls back, the 1 hour 50 may have caught up with the 4 hour 50. And then we're looking at something like that. It might take longer, and then we can trade up. So confirmation of this trend change, the MACD, yeah, definitely MACD diversion there, all the way down this downward trend here. It's trending up here. It's good. So that's one to look for later today. Last one we look at, Aussie Swiss. And hitting at this major level, trading up to the major level, hitting it. So we're going to get a reversal. There's no sign of deceleration yet. What does the hourly chart give us? Well, that trend line does not look particularly good, does it? Maybe the trend line's here somewhere. For the MACD, there's a big divergence from this. These two are the same height. This one. And we go from here to here. So that's a big divergence. So looking like we're going to break down. We need proof. We need a break below this trend line. We need a lower high and a lower low to show the trend has changed. Maybe sometime later today or tomorrow. We'll see a break and a retest of the 1 hour 50. And then have a trade short. Just one to look for. Okay, good. Stop the video. Stop share. Right. My video coming back. Oh, video's gone. It's interesting. Okay. I'll go back to sharing the screen again. Oops. Okay, so I went through a lot of stuff there. Hopefully you can see the trades I like, the trades I don't like, the usual kind of setups that we use, and try and pick out just the really best ones. We only need 5% profits per month to create a lovely life for ourselves. So don't be chasing every single setup that comes along. Look for the really good ones. I gave you a few hints today as to the ones I like, ones I don't like, and why. So hopefully you found some use from that. Good luck in the charts and in the markets today, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care.